Hi, I'm David W. Keffer. I'm writer, director, and producer on The Figment. It focuses on a young man who suffers from sleep paralysis, but when things start to happen to his wife as well, they begin to wonder if maybe it's not sleep paralysis, but maybe something is watching them sleep. So really this whole thing is Adam's fault. Adam was one of my coworkers. We really hit it off. He was an Ohio boy like me, and we both love music. And that's something that's very common in our cast, because everybody loves music. Through Adam, I ended up meeting his wife, Lauren, the lead actress. And it was through Lauren then that I met Jacob. We went out to lunch for Lauren's birthday. While we were there, she goes, I think I know that busboy, so I'm gonna go say hi. So the next thing I know, Lauren comes back to the table and she hands me this piece of paper. She goes, you need to call him if you need a lead actor, call this guy. There's a real good dynamic between everybody. When you hit a 12-hour day, everybody starts to get slow and everybody starts to kind of wind down. But we didn't really have that problem when we shot the trailer. At the end of the day, everybody was still laughing and joking and singing, and it was great. It was great. I really enjoy working with these guys, and I'm looking forward to doing more. I grew up in the middle of nowhere as a young graduate in 2003. The economy was starting to get soft there. It got real tough to find work. So I ended up packing up and heading out to the West Coast. The weather here is fantastic by comparison to Ohio, where it is so cold and dark and gray and blah. But that may be part of where I get some of my inspiration for the horror, is from the Ohio weather. When I was 15, I found an audition for a new startup haunted attraction called the Trail of Terror. Management there really took a shine to me. After that first season, we ended up completely redeveloping the trail, and they actually invited me on board to help with a lot of that process. So I was really fortunate that at 16, I was helping to develop this haunt. We had a great team. We had good people. I ended up moving away from acting and getting more into directing, and ended up doing some of the gaffing work and helping design sets and building props and things like that. So that really introduced me to a whole different side of the creative process and a whole different aspect of theater and stage. I grew up loving horror. It was one of those things that I think kind of happened by necessity. I'm the youngest of 5. My oldest siblings got into horror when I was still pretty young. I like a lot of scary movies, and I like a lot of the ones that kind of introduce a different level of creep or discomfort, like The Event Horizon and The Ring. Really enjoyed Splice. And I think part of the reason I like those movies so much is because they relate to some of the nightmares I've had. It's not easy to explain just how scary it is to be in your bed and to not be able to move and to feel like something is in there with you, that something is watching you, that something's standing over you as you're sleeping. Adam and I would carpool to work, and we started talking, and it came up one day about not sleeping well. And he had mentioned kind of an experience he had with sleep paralysis. So I shared some of mine, and through that conversation we kind of birthed this idea of The Figment. It is very much rooted in reality, and doing the research for the story, we found that something like 30% of people suffer from sleep paralysis or have had experiences with sleep paralysis. So it is a fairly common experience. But then it's also one of those things where when you come out of it, you know what you felt was real, and you're so convinced that what you felt was real. So the take was, what if it is real? What if you're not imagining it? What if it's not in your head? I've been writing for as long as I can remember. We used to exchange horror stories, my little group of friends. We used to exchange scary stories around the campfire, and then we would exchange scary stories just late at night because we were bored, and then we would exchange horror stories just to see who could make one of our sisters cry. It was something of a competition between us. In 2004, I sold my first major script. It's a fun, kind of tongue-in-cheek little B horror movie, but it was good. It was a good experience. If tomorrow were the last day on Earth for me, I would hope that my legacy would be in my writing, in the morals in the writing, the tales behind the tales. Being kind and extending that kindness to others. It would be in compassion. It would be in belief in your fellow humans. We're capable of wonderful, amazing things as a species. And unfortunately, we're capable of just as dark and terrible things too. So my hope is to inspire people to be kind